the terror's going to hold some more.
Whew, you're in for a ride on this one. I'm Zomboy and you're watching Twisted Terrors. Today we're going to be talking about 2018's Mandy. This one is directed by Panos Cosmatos. IMDb has this one rated 6.5 out of 10. Letterboxd has this as a 3.6 out of 5. This movie starts off, you're introduced to Red and Mandy. They are a couple. Red is a logger. Mandy is an artist. They're a loving couple that live out in the woods in the Pacific Northwest in a really cool cabin where she does her art. Everything is fine and great in their life until one day, as Mandy is walking to the store she works at, she's passed by a van that is full of a cult. The cult's name is Children of the New Dawn. And the leader of this cult sees Mandy. Not too much later after this, the cult leader is requesting the people in his cult to go retrieve Mandy because he wants her for himself.
What can I do for you, Jeremiah?
I need you to get me that girl I saw. I need her. I need her now.
Jeremiah, consider it done.
You find out this cult, they have access to these demons. These demons are called the Black Skulls. And in order to request a favor from them, you have to offer them a sacrifice. So the cult sacrifices one of their own members, plus they give them a jar of this crazy LSD drug that's like uber strong that these demons love to consume. And because they made the sacrifice and gave them this gift, they help them go and retrieve Mandy. One night, the Black Skulls and the cult go to infiltrate Red and Mandy's home in the middle of the night. The couple is woken up and are attacked. Mandy is taken and Red is beaten and tied up outside as Mandy is given some sort of drug, and then they sting her with some kind of bee in the neck, which puts her in this really weird high where she's seeing double. And finally the cult leader basically expresses that he is sent to Earth by God. She should feel honored to be in his presence, and offers himself to her as a lover, and is playing one of his own records in the background. And I love this scene because he puts on his own record where he's singing, and he takes his robe off and it's just standing there fully nude in front of Mandy basically, and she starts laughing at his music and then laughing at him, and this just enrages him. He gets so mad that she's laughing at him and she thinks this whole thing is a joke, until they take Mandy outside right in front of Red. They wrap her up in a sleeping bag and hang her from a pole and light her on fire. And they stab Red, and he's tied to some sort of pole with barbed wire, and he's got barbed wire going through his mouth, and he's just bleeding all over the place, and they stab him in the stomach and leave him to die. And of course, it's Nick Cage. Nick Cage plays Red. He's not going to die. So Nick Cage gets out, and he goes in the house, and he has just a huge breakdown where he's upset, he's sad, he's angry, he's in his underwear and drinking liquor, crying in the bathroom. And this is where this movie gets fun. He ends up forging a weapon from scratch. He blacksmiths a weapon. And then he also goes and meets an old friend to retrieve his old crossbow that his friend was holding for him. And decides he is going after the Black Skulls and the Children of the New Dawn. And so from this point going on, it's basically Red tracking them down, and he ends up shooting one of them while it's riding its motorcycle, one of these demons, and the demon crashes, but then they get a hold of Red and he wakes up and he's tied up in this house, and he ends up having to fight these demons one by one, trying to get to the Children of the New Dawn. He ends up killing a couple of the demons. I think he kills like 3 of them before he tracks down the chemist. And the chemist is the guy that's making this LSD, the special LSD just for the demons. And this is played by no one other than one of my favorites, Richard Brake. He plays the chemist, and this scene's kind of neat. You know, this movie's a huge trip. In this scene, Nicolas Cage doesn't have to say anything, but Richard Brake, the chemist, is reading his mind or something, and he's basically having a conversation, but Nick Cage doesn't have to talk, and he gives up basically which way they went so he can go after them, and he ends up tracking them down, going through some mountain tunnels to this old church that's being built out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, right before he finds the church, he has an amazing chainsaw fight. 2 guys with a chainsaw. I mean, doesn't get any better than that. This chainsaw scene's actually better than in some of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres. It's pretty good. But you got Red picking off the demons, picking off the Children of the New Dawn, all trying to get to the leader. And he makes his way into this church and finds out the ladder going down into the ground, and goes down the ladder and finds this underground complex where he ends up meeting another one of the cult members, cuts her head off, and then finds the leader.
It's not just your life I can save. No, it's your goddamn soul. No, please don't hurt me. Can't you see this was all part of your journey? The journey that led you to me. To your salvation. Your cleansing. By my head.
Starts crying like a little baby. Where at the end, Red crushes this guy's skull with his bare hand. He ends up leaving and getting in his car, and he can see Mandy sitting next to him even though she's passed, and he's just smiling, and I think he's gone completely nuts. But this movie is not for everyone. I think it's one of those movies where you really love it or you really hate it. It's definitely an art project. This one it plays heavily with colors. There's lots of reds and blues, and there's some animation that they throw in this that kind of help tell the story. It's just very artistic. There's some really long shots, but I think it works for this movie. I love the score. It's well shot. I actually like the artistic touch on this one. You know, it's a little slow, but it's not too slow. You really like the 2 characters of Mandy and Red. They're 2 complete polar opposites. She's this artist that's always in like metal shirts and metal tank tops, and he's a logger. But you can really feel the connection between these 2. And when Red goes nuts, man, he goes berserk. And there's one point in this movie where he finds a bottle of that LSD, and he takes just a little bit on his finger and touches it to his tongue, and pretty much sees the world ending and his face is melting off, and it's a great scene. A lot of drugs in this movie, but it's a great movie. It's a lot of fun. Like I said before, it's one of those ones you're either gonna love it or you hate it. I love this movie. I think I have it rated a 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, so it's rated pretty high on my scale. I have seen this movie many times. I own it on Blu-ray and DVD, and I highly recommend if you haven't seen this, if it sounds interesting to you. Like I said, it's not a super fast-paced. It's an art piece, but it's very well done. The director that did this movie is the same director that did Beyond the Black Rainbow, and the two have the same vibe. You can tell this director likes the style. You know, that movie's got a lot of the same colors. The score is very similar, but that one I just didn't connect to at all. It was super slow and boring, and it was one of those movies where I was just trying not to pick up my phone because it was so drawn out. With Mandy, I didn't feel that way at all. You know, you're rooting for Nick Cage, and it just gets gory and disgusting, and it's just a lot of fun. You have fun rooting for him. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Tell me what you think. If you have a movie you'd like me to watch and review, put it in the comments below, and I will take a look. And I appreciate you watching this video. Again, this is Zomboy, and you're watching Twisted Terrors. I will see you on the next one.